What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Plus Added Time here on Project Dits. As always, I am Nathan in a United top, peer pressure, and repping the place of his birth proudly. It is Dara Gibbons. Dara, how you doing?
Great. Ireland weren't great, but I'm great, and that's the main thing.
Any Irish players there behind you
Um,
on the wall?
I actually don't
Is that
think
Ricky Lambert, Navi Keita?
Ricky Lambert, Diddy Hamann, Ian Rush, Keita, Joe Allen, Jamie Redknapp. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe not.
Can't see that.
Yeah,
I see enough of
that's.
Jamie Redknapp during the week anyway.
I once saw him in I was at a Liverpool match, and he was obviously running from the car park to the stadium, obviously doing analysis of some sort. And he had the hood up, like it was a sunny day. The hood up, he was running across, and I just kind of said pretty loudly, "Is that Jamie Redknapp?" And suddenly everyone kind of turns and starts mobbing him, and I like to think I ruined his day.
I like to think. I reckon you did. Because he doesn't seem like. Is Jamie Redknapp a really recognisable guy? Because he's a good-looking guy.
Yeah, he's there for the middle-aged women, isn't he? Not
And
that
me,
he's
apparently.
like going after the middle-aged. Yeah. Not that he's going after them. Just they tune in, see a bit of jazza, and that's Harry Redknapp's son. Yeah.
Has he replaced Ryan Giggs? Because Ryan Giggs he was one for the ladies as well.
Yeah, I can't imagine that because I've always known Ryan Giggs to be at least. I think he's been at least 30 since I was born, and I'm not even making that up.
You know, he used to have his own magazine.
He used to have his own calendar magazine.
Yeah.
Okay,
I only found this out. He gets a mention every week. So obviously, former Portsmouth, current Portsmouth legend Peter Crouch, on his podcast, one of them pointed out that Giggs used to have a magazine of his own called Giggs.
Called Giggs.
Apparently, it was just feeling like I don't know if they were just riffing at this point, but apparently it was just like one that the ladies would all buy it. Someone said that one of them said that their sister would always buy it. Like, I never thought of Ryan Giggs as I don't know how we've ended up here.
Don't look at me.
Was he always that good looking?
I don't know. Again, I've never really. Do you remember when he had blonde hair? Just sorry to completely dodge your question, but I remember someone saying before that he had blonde hair. Well, not blonde hair. He had the highlights or whatever. And I had absolutely no idea. I looked it up, and I still, for the life of me, can't remember that ever being a thing.
I don't remember that ever being a thing. Only thing I remember is that he would have the super curly hair when he was younger, and then at some point it went to like short back and sides, and that was it for the next 20 years.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much. But if you can't tell, it's International Week.
Did I give it away?
Yeah, with your jersey and us talk about Ryan Giggs, ever topical, wasn't on the sideline for Wales. We don't need to get into that.
Moving on swiftly.
Yeah, moving on swiftly there. But how are you, Dara?
I'm pretty good. Yeah, I've got a load of college work finished this week. I had a few assignments. Now I'm done for 3 weeks, and I only have 3 weeks of college left.
What's your go-to Easter egg?
Go-to Easter egg? It's a good question. It'd probably be a Cadbury's cream egg Easter egg, if they're listening.
Oh my god! If they want to sponsor us, get sponsored by Cadbury's, that wouldn't be bad.
Be decent, yeah.
It'd be pretty great.
Just get that. You get the cream egg. I mean, I think every Easter egg is the same, really, isn't it? The actual egg itself. I could be wrong.
It's just the hollow, cheap chocolate.
Do you know what's actually really good? If you want to like spice up the Easter egg, well, not spice it up. That'd be a very
chili chocolate
thing to do.
That would be.
But if you get the Kinder, the Kinder company who make like Kinder Buenos and Kinder Bears, that egg itself is like tastes like that Kinder chocolate. It's incredible.
Jesus, well, I know what I'm doing this Easter. Let us know what Easter egg you're getting at Project Dits. But Dara, last week's trivia question.
Oh yes, thank you for reminding me, Nathan. It was FA Cup themed, obviously, because it was FA Cup weekend, wasn't it? And the question was, who was the first person to score an FA Cup final goal at the Millennium Stadium? Nathan, any idea?
I didn't have any idea.
No, it was in 2001 in a game between Liverpool and Arsenal. It's the game that Michael Owen scored remember Michael Owen scores the 2 late goals, and he lived off that for the rest of his career.
I'm gonna go for Dennis Bergkamp.
No, Freddie Youngberg.
Oh, the wrong one.
He loved the FA Cup final. He scored against Chelsea, I remember, the year after, I think it was. One of them.
one of them at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was FA Cup weekend, so we're going to get on to kind of our topical football talk because there's not a lot of it. When for anyone here looking for our hot takes on England v San Marino, first, congratulations to Ollie Watkins. Like that's an interesting story
Oh yeah.
from Western Supermare to the England team. It's pretty good going. He didn't look out of place against San Marino.
I should hope not.
Have you seen the hilarious picture? I say hilarious because he did, by all accounts, he played well and he got an assist. And it also, I'm not picking on Jesse Lingard here, but have you seen a picture of Jesse Lingard picks up the ball and there's just 6 San Marino players surrounding him?
No, I switched off completely from that England match.
There's a picture, and it's very reminiscent of. There's one of Maradona. I can't remember who Maradona was playing. Who they were playing. I think in an Argentina shirt. And there's the one of Lionel Messi when he picks up the ball and he's surrounded by people. And people were like, and then there's Jesse Lingard surrounded by San Marino players.
Do you know, there's one of them of Joel Matip as well. That'll be everyone's homework for the week. Trying to find the picture of Joel Matip surrounded by about 7 Tottenham players.
Just trying to find a picture of Joel Matip is enough.
Love that man. But Nathan,
yeah, go on.
What happened?
What happened? So it was a good week for United before we got to the Leicester game. We'd beaten West Ham in the league. We'd gone to the San Siro. Almost said San Marino. Gone to the San Siro and got a clean sheet and got through in the Europa League. We played well in that game. Limited AC Milan to I think 4 shots on target, and other than Zlatan nearly scoring at the last second. I think we talked about this last week. I'm getting vague deja vu.
I can't remember. Yeah, it's been a while. It feels like it's been a while.
But yeah, clean sheet in the San Siro. That's never a bad thing, no matter what AC Milan side it is. I know it's not the best. Definitely
limited them. I can't remember many chances besides that Zlatan header.
I know they had 4 shots on target, and I think we like. I said this on a different podcast earlier, but it's not the best Serie A at the minute. They're not the best sides ever. So, but still, to get a clean sheet at San Siro, that's not bad. Then the Leicester game comes around, and some other players get a chance. Eric Bailly out injured, even though he's apparently sulking because he doesn't get many chances. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. So we have to keep with Maguire and Lindelof in the middle. Wan-Bissaka's still playing because we don't have another right back anymore, apparently. Telles looks fine. The issues came in midfield when you rotate in Matic and Fred. And I like Matic. He's been a great player for us. He was a great player for Chelsea. He's had a great career. But this kind of felt a little bit, and I might be being very harsh here, it felt a little bit like Gary Neville against West Brom.
Quite the comparison, yeah.
Where you're just watching the guy and you're just going, oh, there's nothing. It's gone a little bit. The legs have gone. The legs are gone. The passing range is still there. He's a good leader on the pitch, but the legs have gone. And
just at the highest level, you just wonder, is it time?
Yeah, you do just wonder. And I think for Matic, it's probably time to move on this summer. And there just was nothing there from us. Like we just did nothing in midfield at all. Donny van de Beek came back into the side after being injured for a while. There's just, for a long time, people were kind of going, oh, Ollie's not giving him a chance. But he had 60 minutes in the FA Cup quarter-final here to do anything. And I know it was his first game, but
I think if I'm going to come in and defend Donny van de Beek, has he played... I looked up a stat, I remember, and he'd played 90 minutes something like 4 times this season, and you won all 4 games. Now, I know stats can be misleading or whatever, but he's not... I don't think he's been given a fair run of games to contribute much.
He hasn't played since, I think it's January because of injury. But even still, and yeah, I am being a little bit harsh on him here when you point that out, but there was no sign, there was no spark there in midfield at all. We were overrun. Yuri Tillsman, or however you say his name, sorry if I butchered it. Tielemans was outstanding. So I don't just want to sit here and say United were rubbish. Like, he was unbelievable. He ran the show, and he, from first minute to last minute, he was absolutely incredible. Jamie Vardy was great, even though he didn't get a goal. There was a one-on-one that he had where he just absolutely, like, I don't know how he sliced it wide. He was one-on-one clear with Henderson, takes the shot, and it just was awful. And I know his goals are kind of dried up a little bit, but he was still great. Iniacho was perfect. He was in every position that he needed to be in. But yeah,
One thing I think, obviously, Nathan, Bruno Fernandes didn't start. Do you think he had to start this game?
I don't, because at some point you can't ask him to play every minute under the sun. Like him and Maguire, their minutes on the pitch this season, and including last season, are crazy. And at some point you have to rest him. So I don't blame him for not starting him. Any game that you drop, obviously when you got a player like Bruno Fernandes, if you drop them, you're going to miss them. So you've got to kind of pick when you do that. Could we drop him against West Ham? Bear in mind where West Ham are in the league and where we are in the league. No. Are you going to drop him at the San Siro? You'd have to be nuts to do that to him.
Yeah.
So you've got to kind of say to him, well, you can't play this game as well.
Yeah. Two things I might hit you with is, Ollie obviously had to rotate at some point. I think that's fair to say. But for a counter argument, I'd throw back at you. I remember we were talking about this last week. He made one sub in the AC Milan game, and that was bringing on Pogba at halftime, wasn't it? And the game before that, West Ham, didn't make any subs.
Mm-hmm.
So if he was to rest Bruno, you think he could have given him a few minutes here and there?
He could have done, but to counter that again, both those games we won 1-0. They were close games, and you need your best players on the pitch at any one time. I think the bigger argument here is just simply the players that he rotated in aren't good enough, and they're not. Matic, I love him. He's been a good player, but no, he's probably. I'll be surprised if he plays another minute this season after that performance. Fred had an awful game. He's been good this season. He showed a lot more about what he's about this season. He looks comfortable in the Premier League now, but he had a terrible time. And we didn't come to life at all in the game until Scott McTominay and Cavani and Shaw came on. And Bruno, obviously. Until they came on, we had nothing. Like Mason Greenwood did well for the goal. The other one is Paul Pogba again. He had a terrible game as well. There was a lack of creativity, and Martial was so isolated up front because there was no one in that space which Bruno occupies, and presumably someone was meant to be in that space. It's meant to be Donny van der Beek or Pogba, but they were completely anonymous, and neither of them were getting in there. They were saying it at half time. Alan Shearer was pointing out that just no one was making runs from midfield, and you got two attacking midfielders on the pitch. And at times Fred was the furthest one forward. So it was a bad day. Leicester were outstanding though. I don't just want to sit here and say that they weren't. They were great. And they deserved to go through. And I think Greenwood took his goal well though. If you're looking at any positives you want to take, it's good to see Greenwood getting a goal because he needs it.
Do you think it's slightly worrying that you've missed out on this trophy? Because for me personally, I'm not sure how you feel. Obviously, you watch United a lot more than I would now, but to me, it already seems like you've sort of confirmed top four. Like you're not going to finish higher than second, and I don't think you'll finish below fourth. And obviously, they didn't know beforehand, but Southampton in the semis seems a pretty winnable game and another chance to get to another final.
Yeah, with hindsight, obviously, it's disappointing whenever you don't reach a final. And it is when you're a club like United or a club like Liverpool, you should be reaching finals consistently. And yeah, it's disappointing, but not to try and defend the performance at all, but we've played so many games lately. At some point, the bubble was going to burst. We've been playing every 3 or 4 days now for what feels like about 4 months. I don't feel like there's for the last what must be a month at this point. Every Thursday when we record, my dog's decided to bark. Sorry, guys.
At same time every week.
Same time every week, he just loses his mind. But I feel like every time we record at the minute, there's a United game on. Usually we record on Thursdays, but it does seem like, and then we would play again on the Saturday, or not the Saturday, on the Sunday or the Monday, and then we play again on the Thursday.
And you did have 3 games in the last week, which I think is also, you have to point out.
And they're not, we were on about when should Bruno be rested. Like, you're playing West Ham, who are having an outstanding season, and they're pushing for top 4. They're leapfrogging Chelsea seemingly every single week. We're then playing away at the San Siro, with them playing at the King Power, like it's at some point it's going to slip up because the squad, when you get past probably 13 or 14 players, it hasn't been good enough. Like there's not those people that you can rotate every time we rotate. We rotated in the league not long ago. I can't remember who. I think it was Sheffield United. Ollie made a load of changes because we then had Europe about 3 or 4 days later, and again and we lost that game convincingly again. So you just got to look
Remember
and
it
go.
well.
Yeah. Again, you just got to look
marked
and
down on the calendar.
There'll be a DVD of it, don't worry. So you just got to say the squad isn't good enough, like past 13, 14 players. And I think, like, to try and end the United talk, I think you can say that about a lot of squads. I think you can say that about Liverpool's squad as well. The only one you can't is Man City.
Yeah.
I think in the entire league, that when you get past that first 11 or a few players, the rest of them should have question marks next to them.
I think that's fair, and I'm sure we'll touch on something like that at some other point in one of these shows. Players we feel are a bit past their best.
I think so, and for United there is a lot, and you can. There's been people this week from other like United fans, other podcasts, other journalists, and everything, just saying, "Oh well, if COVID didn't happen, we would have this, we would have Sancho, we'd have this player, we'd have that player." But no, every club's had to deal with that. You can't just throw that excuse at United and go, "Well, the squad's not good enough because of COVID." Because every side, like City, have got very lucky with their son. I say lucky; it was probably good scouting more than luck that they brought Ruben Diaz in, and that John Stones has suddenly turned into the John Stones of old. So they're defensively so much better, and they didn't have to shore up the attack as much. Although Ferran Torres is having a decent season, but every other club has had to deal with it. So it's not really a good enough excuse for me about the squad to just say, well, if COVID didn't happen, we would have signed Grealish and Maddison and Sancho and Haaland. And because we wouldn't have.
Yeah, you love spending all that money at once.
Yeah, we love forking out 300 million in the summer, don't we? That's what we do. So no, it's disappointing, not entirely surprising. I think if you swap the Leicester and the West Ham game around, we probably would have beaten Leicester and lost to West Ham. So
yeah,
just too many games and not enough quality in the squad.
Philosophy there with Nathan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so hopefully in the summer, I'd love to say we're going to sort it out, but I don't know that we will. I think we're not a million miles away. We just need Matic is, let's say, probably done. We need a world-class replacement, which isn't easy to find. And I think, to be honest, we need that central defense, that defensive midfielder. Everyone's on about us signing Haaland, which would be incredible. And Dortmund today, according to ESPN, have put a price on him this summer of about 180 million euros. Which, if you wait a year, you can get him for 75 because of his release clause. So, good luck, Dortmund.
Yeah.
But I'd say we need a defensive midfielder way more. Because we got the goals in the squad.
That should be your first protocol from me, anyways.
I think, a partner. It looks like we're going to stick with Maguire, whatever anyone thinks of that. Look, everyone saying we need a partner for Maguire. I think those two should be more important before we sign someone like Haaland, because we don't need him. The goals would be amazing, but that's not a necessity in this squad. We've got goals.
Yeah, you need to build from the back. That's the old saying, isn't it?
It's the Fergie thing of goals win you games, defenses win you leagues.
Yeah.
There we are.
Is that him who said that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right. I never knew that. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but other United news, and to get onto the usual nonsense of this podcast, we've now got a sporting director. We've got Darren Fletcher has been promoted to kind of footballing director, I think, and another guy's coming. But which meant that Nicky Butt has left. Apparently, he's upset that he got overlooked for promotion. So I was like, oh, Nicky Butt. I don't know a lot about him after he left United. I know he went to Newcastle, but first didn't know that he played for Birmingham on loan for a season.
Actually, do you know one of the other things I know about Nicky, but I know very little. Like you said, Newcastle. It's one of those things I know. I remember that Pele said he was like the best English player in the world, or something like that, in the 2002 World Cup.
Sure, he was Pele.
He's a bit mad. God bless him.
Great player, but would you like to take a guess at what his last club was?
Like, this could be anyone. Do you know what I mean? I might as well turn on FIFA and hit randomize a few times. I've got no clue. I'll go with the lower league English team because I feel like that's where he would have bowed out, which means it's going to be wrong. What's
It's
near
very
Manchester?
wrong. It's nowhere near Manchester.
Right. I'll go with Carlisle.
It's also nowhere near England.
Okay, well, I reckon Carlisle mightn't be correct, so somehow.
Would you like another guess?
If
I said it's not in Europe. Would that surprise you?
not overly. Not overly. Go on, we'll go with
his last club, according to Wikipedia, is he spent a season, a 10-11 season, at a club that's just down as South China. And then you click on it, and it's the South China Athletic Association, also known as South China SCAA. It's a football club which currently competes in the Hong Kong First Division, the second tier in Hong Kong football.
I don't know. I don't know how we got here.
I don't know how we got here either, but there you go, guys. Nicky Butt spent a season in the Hong Kong football division.
Jeez, I'd love to. Is there an interview, or has he ever talked about that? I'd love to see that.
I'd love to see that as well. But I just thought that was so weird. Like, by all accounts, he's a good coach. So to get to do the United talk, I'm glad he was at the club. I wish him all the best. Apparently, he's going to Derby to join up with Rooney, which isn't surprising. Hopefully, they take Phil Jones with them. And but yeah, here you go. On the 6th of November 2010, the chairman of Hong Kong club South China, Stephen Lowe, sorry if I'm saying that wrong, said that the club expected Butt to sign for them, which is a hilarious sentence. At the end of the month, Butt signed for South China on the 22nd. He wore the number 8 shirt. And he scored a free kick in his first game, but also missed a penalty.
How many appearances did he make? Does it say?
He made 3.
Oh.
No, he didn't make 3. So 3 league appearances, some other stuff. 13.
13. Genie, but sorry. So why is the league a cup competition over there? What's he played these other 10 games in?
He played 3 league games. He then played in some other, I don't know what they're called because they're just down as cup competitions.
Yeah, all right.
He made 5 appearances in something that's just labelled as Asia. Oh, it's the AFC Cup.
Oh, that's the Champions League, isn't it?
Oh,
well, not the Champions League.
13 appearances, 2 goals, and then he retired.
God, how old was he when he moved to Hong Kong?
Oh, now you're asking all the questions. So it was 11 years ago. So he was 35.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, sure. I don't know.
Yeah. There you go. There you go, guys. Oh, there's even a picture of him playing for them on his Wikipedia.
Oh, brilliant.
Against TSW Pegasus in the Hong Kong League Cup final.
That sounds like a fantasy football team.
Did he leave and win a trophy? No. Oh, yeah. Hong Kong League Cup 10-11.
Woo.
Good for him.
Well done to Nicholas.
Nicholas Butt.
Sounds like a dodgy Santa Claus or something.
It does. Oh, but I'll throw it over to you. What have you got for us this week?
Well, Nathan, I thought it's International Week, and I thought I'd interest you. I'd pique your interest, give you a little taster with a new segment I've been working on called Addressing the Nation. Right? I thought that was clever. That took me years to come up with.
Very clever.
It's a story that I've always known about, and I think it's a very sort of unknown sort of occurrence. I guess I'll just get into it. I thought I'd set the scene first of all. So we're going back to the 27th of January 1994. Nathan, you were 20 at that stage?
Yeah, 20 going on 20. I would have been 1 year old.
The location, the National Stadium in Bridgetown, Barbados.
I know it well.
I love this place. And again, just to set the scene a bit more, John Major was UK Prime Minister. Bill Clinton, a year into his reign as President of the United States. And Marseille were reigning champions of Europe, and Manchester United were a year into their first English league title reign since 1968. That long ago. I had a quick look at how our teams were getting on, Nathan. Manchester United, top of the table. They'd go on to win the double that season.
Good
and
stuff.
The night before this, they'd beaten Portsmouth to reach the Coca-Cola League Cup semi-final.
The Milk Cup.
Whereas Liverpool, bit better off than United back then, had just been knocked out of the FA Cup at Anfield to First Division mid-table side Bristol City. This game would lead to Reds boss Graham Souness quitting as Liverpool manager just days later, and he's replaced by Roy Evans, as Liverpool went on to finish 8th, their lowest finish since their promotion back to the top flight in 1962. Right.
Good times.
Certainly painted a picture. Good times never seem so good. So, Nathan, sometimes in football, when a game goes to extra time, it is decided by a golden goal, which is essentially next goal wins. It's very school playground mentality. When the bell goes, you're getting ready to go back in, and you just scream. If you could be 10 goals down, you could be 10 goals up. It always works. And for some reason, in the build-up to this international competition, the organisers wanted to introduce some new rules. The first rule being there were to be no draws under no circumstances, so matches would go to extra time golden goal instead. You think, fair enough, sport is a game of winners and losers, none of this drawn stuff, especially in Central America, where they'd be huge fans of American sports, I imagine, which there is never any draws. They go to overtime, don't they? However, Nathan, they also wanted the golden goal to count as 2 goals instead of 1. I have absolutely no idea.
What's the logic about that?
I couldn't find any reason or any sense. But you think in that instance, in extra time, fair enough. You might as well make it 100 goals. It doesn't really affect the outcome of the game, I guess. Do you know what I mean? Now, Nathan, why is this such a bad idea? You might be thinking. Well, because they wanted to introduce this into the group stages. And obviously, for those who know, a group stage, you have to deal with goal difference. Yeah. And this sudden double counting golden goal in extra time could become quite controversial, right? So I want you to remember those 2 rules. So that the fact that it's at play in league football and it goes straight to extra time and you get 2 goals instead of the 1, right? It was in the build-up to the Caribbean Cup, the qualifiers. The group consisted of 3 teams, Barbados, Puerto Rico, and Grenada, my 3 favourite countries. Grenada entered the final group game top of the table, and only a win by 2 or more goals would see Barbados qualify. Okay, I'm sure you can all see this coming together like an episode of Casualty. We get to the final 10 minutes of the game, and Barbados are 2-0 up. They have the goals they need to get through to the Caribbean Cup, but Grenada score with 7 minutes to play. At this point, the Barbados players remember this weird rule that if they score in extra time, their goal suddenly counts as 2. So with a few minutes, this is a competitive game. So with a few minutes left on the clock, the defender and goalkeeper just pass it like a yard apart, just back and forth to each other, back and forth, before defender Terry Seeley, we all remember him, intentionally smashes the ball into his own goal, making it 2-2. There's footage online. It's incredible. The Grenada players suddenly clock what's happening, and they're left in this almost comedic situation where they could score neither goal. They could score for themselves or score an own goal, and they'd progress to the next round despite losing or by winning. But if they don't score, they're in threat of going out. Now, for this next bit, I couldn't find footage, so I'm relying on secondhand information. But apparently the Barbados players split 6-5, defending both goals for about 5 minutes, and the game goes to extra time. I don't for the life of me know how Grenada weren't able to score on, theoretically they had 11 players and they could just charge at the 1 goal. I don't know. They must have had Victor and Ichibi up front that night. So the game goes to extra time, and the Barbadians score in extra time and win the game by 2 goals they needed, despite only scoring 1. So the game officially ends 4-2 to Barbados, even though they've only scored 3 goals. And it was them that went to that year's Caribbean Cup. Now that is a story I've just addressed.
It really exposes that people in charge of football don't know anything about football.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Well, you think of stuff like VAR, which was the World Cup in 2018, wasn't it? As well as like the Confederations Cup. Goal line technology, 2014 World Cup, the vanishing spray with the referees. But
Yeah,
I don't know why they thought this was like I guess it somewhat makes sense. Well, no, it doesn't. The golden goal element makes sense, but not in the group stage. And even golden goal as it is, isn't really popular with football fans.
it's not because it's very like playground. 'Cause I used to work at a leisure centre, and we would have like an indoor football bit where people would come and play five-a-side. So people would book like an hour. So say they book like 7 till 8. At 8, you'd go and pull the curtain back and say to guys, time, like it's time up. We need to get next people on. They would always go, next goal wins, and just carry on until a goal is scored. And you're like, get out.
Game went on for a following 90 minutes.
I like the idea of not of getting rid of draws. Have I told you my idea to get rid of draws before?
Yeah, we did. I
Yeah,
think we did discuss this. Didn't we? Straight to penalties.
straight to penalties, best of
Yeah.
3.
No messing about.
No messing about. No messing about. Also, the idea earlier is it's 2 points for a win and just no points if you lose in the league.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah.
Yes.
I forgot you've gotten rid of draws, and I was
I
thinking
got rid of draws, so I think 3 points would be too much. So I think bring that back to 2 points, and then just no points if you lose.
Yeah. I guess it makes sense. I'd love to see that. If I don't know, Sepp, well, not Sepp Blatter, he's not in charge of it anymore. But Sepp, if you want to get in touch, what do you think
Arsene
about?
Wenger's busy with his offside rule.
I've seen that. What do you think of that actually?
It does need changing, but I don't really know what you're doing because people seem to think that if they change the offside rule, it's going to stop this thing with VAR about it being so like precise. It's not. However, you
Yeah.
have the offside rule. VAR is just it's just black and white. It's there's the line. You're either over it, you're under it. And it depends what idiot drew the line suddenly with Microsoft Paint on your TV screen. But so it's kind of like I think wherever we draw the line and go, that's onside, that's offside. It's not going to stop this argument of being like, oh, his toenail was offside. Well, no, because all you did was move the line. You haven't changed anything with that. But it does. The strikers should, or the attackers should have an advantage. Should have slightly more of an advantage than they.
I think that's the fair way to do it. Definitely,
Yeah,
you want more goals, not less goals.
exactly. I don't like the idea. Who was it? I can't remember. It was the other day. Someone will remember who suggested just getting rid of.
Yeah, Marco Van Basten.
Van Basten, that was it. Yeah, he just went, we should not have offside. That is so.
That'd be terrible because Pipo Inzaghi would be coming out of retirement and scoring against Liverpool in Champions League finals again, and I can, my young heart can't put up with that.
Yeah, I don't know what we do. Like, there's got to be a more interesting way. I feel like there's rather than just moving the offside rule, someone somewhere must have an idea of what we do instead.
If we go back to extra time for a second, I'm not a fan of the halftime and extra time. I don't really see the point of that. I think that's a waste of time.
Stupid, isn't it?
Just do 15 minutes. I think that'd be fine.
I just don't like extra time. Like it's
general,
it's a very as you pointed out, it's a very American way. It probably didn't come from America, but it feels like a very American. Like, oh, we're going to overtime, guys. Like, no, we've had our 90 minutes. We've already got plus added time.
Hey.
at the end of the first and the end of the second half, so it's almost like we've got extra time.
Yeah, when you hear like these ice hockey games going to like triple overtime, and you're like, oh, I can't be putting up with that.
No, I think we should do. I think we should just have extra time at the end of the second half, but it's just everything added on, and we should just be able to see how long is going to be added on as the game goes. So we've already got what's the rule? I think it's 30 seconds a sub.
Yeah, is that like an official rule, or is that just like a saying?
There is an official rule, I think, because there must be a way of working it out. But let's see it added on. So when you see like, oh, they're making a sub, and then you just see on the big clock plus 30 seconds. Oh, there's more subs. Oh, Ollie's decided to make all his changes because his team sucks. Add 2.5 minutes.
No, he'd leave them all on. He wouldn't take anyone off.
Yeah. Every Liverpool game just ends at the 90th minute because no one's made any subs. We should have a next time Liverpool play United, which I think is in May, didn't we just
Yeah,
win?
it's like
Yeah,
the
something like that.
first week of May. Yeah.
We should do our watch along and just drink for every sub, and then just end it stone cold sober.
I didn't even buy a drink. I was so
Yeah.
certain.
My beer's just gone flat where I've not
Yeah.
been able to touch it.
You know, one random one I know is that I don't know if it still is the case, but growing up, certainly, the only Premier League game to finish with no subs being made was Manchester United versus Wigan around 2005 ish. Paul Jewell was the Wigan manager. And I can't really figure out how that would have worked.
What with no subs?
Yeah, just no one made any subs.
Just a lot of injuries. And the only way I can see that is that if Fergie had rotated and just put out like a bit of a B team, and then we were winning anyway. So he was like, "Now we'll just let the kids. We'll let Darren
But-
Gibson have his full 90."
But then you think, why wouldn't Wigan be making subs? Or if it was like a 0-0, would they not make a sub to try and like bring on a striker and go for it, or bring on a defender and shore it up? Unless the ball just like didn't go out of play or something.
They probably just didn't have any.
In 2006.
Just no strikers.
Oh,
No, I meant they probably just didn't have any. They were just like, "Now we've lost. We're 5-0 down." It's always a funny thing that managers do is when, say, like, and we did it to Ahmad Diallo against Leicester the other day. So we're like 3-1 down, and they just throw on like a young player when you're like, just to give him some minutes. And it's always when the team's like 6-0 down, you're having a torrid time. Oh, we'll just stick on the 17-year-old, get him some first team experience. Like, how demoralizing.
I know, yeah. The one I think of straight away is Ollie McBurney made his debut against Liverpool when Swansea were like 5-0 down. You just
What's
think
he gonna do?
he doesn't want to be there. No one wants to be coming on.
Yeah, no one wants to come on. Like, why put on an extra defender when you're 7-0 down? It's to like, oh, we're just going to shore things up at the back. It's like, what's the
no
point?
more goals.
No more. A random fact for you here, Dara. And I'm taking this from r-soccer, which is a Reddit thread, if you guys don't know what the r-bit is. And I don't know if this is true, so I'm going to throw it to you.
Brilliant.
SPFL team St Johnstone are the only British professional team with a J in their name, apparently. See, I'm going to throw out a few facts from here just to.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that instantly.
Don't know if any of these are true because I've not done my due diligence, and it's more fun to do on the podcast. But
sure,
I can't think of one.
I can't think of any J's turning up. No, not even in the middle somewhere. I know that for a while, did you know the only club in the English Football League, it probably isn't even the case anymore, but the only place that isn't named after a place? The only team that isn't named after a place.
Oh, that's a good one. I don't. What is it?
Port Vale.
Oh, is that not a place? Oh.
I don't know what a Port Vale is, but it's not a place.
It's not real. Neither do they. Here's another one that I thought was very interesting. Brazil's first ever official match was against Exeter City in 1914.
Yeah, I did know that. I've heard that one before. That was going to be one of the, not this week's obviously, but that was going to be like a trivia question when I was struggling.
Oh, I might be about to ruin these with my Reddit thread of facts.
Hit me with them. I don't think I've ever been on Reddit.
It's a cool place to go. Here you go.
You sound like someone's dad.
I don't know if this is the only time this has happened, but obviously in a lot of other leagues, you have, say, like Real Madrid and Real Madrid B will play like further down, and or Barcelona B, they'll play further down in the leagues. They're not allowed to be in the same league as the first team. Yeah. But apparently Real Madrid did once beat their B team 6-1 in the 1980 Copa del Rey final.
Yeah, I've heard that before. I think for that reason, I don't think the youth or like B teams are allowed to enter cup competitions anymore. I don't think Barcelona B are ever in the cup, just in case they get drawn against, and they can't be in the same league either.
Do you think we should have B teams? Like it crops up every now and then.
You sort of do, don't you? You get like the under 23s for some Premier League teams.
Like the Premier League B. Like I think, is it the EFL Cup?
Or the EFL Trophy or whatever it's called.
One of them that we're allowed to enter. Like, but do you think we should have like Liverpool B in like League One or in the National League? or do you not? Like, see, I think it's Spain, and I know Bayern Munich of Bayern Munich 2 further down, and I think it probably is the same in Italy as well. But we
Yeah,
don't.
I don't know. I'm not really 100% sure what the difference is between us having reserve team or like why they're allowed. I'm not even sure if English teams are allowed to do it, are they?
I don't think we are because we do have obviously we have the 92 with the Premier League and then the
Yeah.
Championship, League One, League Two. So you would be kicking out some clubs,
Yeah, I think it's a bit
presumably,
unfair. Yeah.
which would be very unfair. And presumably those countries just don't have like they obviously that further down the league they don't have the riches that the EFL do. Not that you'd know it looking at the way they spend their money, but like you wouldn't know that they're super loaded. But this is another good one. Alvin Martin once scored 3 goals against 3 different keepers in a match against Newcastle.
I've heard that before. I think Peter Beardsley was one of the goalkeepers, which is all I ever took from it.
And I will stop with this one just for a second. But in the Andover and District Sunday League, referee Martin Sylvester sent himself off after punching a player.
Oh, can't you see Mike Dean doing that at some point?
No, he's having an awful time at the minute, isn't he, Mike Dean?
Can't find any chickens.
God, the Pete Crouch podcast should really pay us for all this free publicity.
Just recycling material from that show, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. It's not great. Last one I thought was quite interesting. I did say a lot, but I forgot about this one. I didn't know that the term soccer actually comes from England.
I do know this one, I think.
Oh, do you? Oh, you know way more than me.
Association football?
Association football. Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to know when it became such a toxic term in England. Like, whenever anyone calls it soccer, it's always like,
do you know what I bet? I bet it's just like Americans who actually know what they're talking about trying to like argue with Keith in the pub. But because they called it soccer, he's like, oh, no, I'm right, you're wrong. That's the only thing I can think of.
We should try and get an American on the show. Get their soccer knowledge. Find out what's going on in the MLS.
Not even a football fan, just any American, please.
Just any American who could tell us anything.
Well, like personally, I call it soccer sometimes. It obviously depends, like in what context we're in, because obviously Gaelic in Ireland is usually referred to as just the football.
Do you know that Xabi Alonso is a huge fan of Gaelic football?
I did not know that. No.
Found out earlier. I was talking about him because he was linked with the Borussia Mönchengladbach job. Which I'd like to point out, Rahul from the TC9, the Conventional 9 podcast, referred to as, and I quote here, one of the biggest jobs in Europe. In a very sincere way. He asked me what I thought about him being associated so quickly with one of the biggest jobs in Europe.
And this wasn't for like comedic effect, no?
No, this wasn't even his stand-up set.
Maybe in like the early to mid 70s when they were getting to UEFA Cup finals and losing them to Liverpool. And a Champions League final actually. But yeah, no, I'm sorry to Rahul. But no, I don't think it's even in the top. I don't think that'd be in the top 30.
That'll be an interesting next international break. Join us for Dara's top 30 jobs in football. But yeah, and then it turned out that apparently he's a big fan of Gaelic football.
Yeah, that's I know obviously I remember I've looked into this before, not like in huge detail or anything, but there are a few Gaelic football teams set up in Spain because obviously Nathan, you know about Malaga, obviously. If you know, you know.
If you know.
And I found out that in Torremolinos, which would be probably popular for like holiday goers. It's big with Irish tourists, anyways. It's about 20 minutes away from Malaga, but they have their own Gaelic football team. So then I looked into it a bit more, and yeah, from what I remember, the sort of Basque regions had obviously Alonso's a Basque boy.
Basque boy. That's boy with an I at the end.
A Basque lad, but yeah, that's interesting. I'd love to see Xabi Alonso talk about Gaelic football. I'm not a huge fan myself. You know, I'll jump on the bandwagon when my county are doing well, but I'm not there week in, week out.
Oh, well, apparently Alonso is.
That's interesting.
Every time. knocking back the pints with the other Basque boys, watching the Gaelic football.
Nathan, I have another segment prepared. A segment we haven't done in a while.
Oh no.
Exactly the response I was hoping for. It's the return of Sockbusters for the first time on YouTube. Well, actually, no, not technically. The first time visually speaking. This week, Nathan, I've gone for Aston Villa. It's the Sockbusters Villa edition.
I'll just test my knowledge of the Villa squad quickly.
So, for anyone who's forgotten, I give you what I like to call a cryptic clue. Then I'll give you some initials, and the cryptic clue and initials will spell out a former or current player of that team. This week it's Aston Villa. Nathan, are you ready for number one?
I'm ready. Is it Douglas Luiz?
No.
Oh.
Douglas Luiz has not made the cut. So there's 3 of them in total. Your first one, the 4th letter of the alphabet is hovering above the capital of Ireland. Initials DD. Very easy one, I think.
You say that. I'm really exposing my lack of knowledge of the Villa squad here. DD.
Could be a former player, could be a current player.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay. Dion Dublin.
Yeah, famous for the Jube, another Peter Crouch recycled term. The Jube being
the Jube was way before the Peter Crouch. I remember the Jube. Now, sporting some of the. Did you? Oh, you probably didn't get the BBC. Did you get the BBC coverage of the? Oh, you didn't watch it. Never mind. He had some of the world's worst glasses on for that FA Cup game. The only thing worse than the Nemanja Matic was Dion Dublin's thick lensed glasses.
3D specs.
He also does a daytime house hunting show.
Yeah, what's that called again?
Oh, it's either I can't remember which one it is. I think it's Homes Under the Hammer.
That's it.
Okay.
The Hammer, yeah.
I can't say I ever watch it, but Dublin.
If you're unemployed,
yeah, or caught in a pandemic, you too can watch famous Jube creator Dion Dublin try and sell you a house.
Obviously more known for that than being a Premier League footballer. So obviously that one was the 4th letter of the alphabet. That's D. Is hovering above on the capital of Ireland, Dublin. I think that one actually worked, unlike most of them on this segment. So that was a nice easy one to start off with. The second one. The thing you stand on when you walk in the front door, just put your money there. Initials MC.
It's Matty Cash.
It's Matty. He's got it straight away.
Good player, Matty Cash. He's having a good season.
Nottingham Forest legend up there with the Cloughs, not just Brian, Nigel as well. And you're.
Sorry, he's having a good season. I'm not going to call him up there with the club.
Nathan's opinions again do not reflect. Okay, and the final one. This is another former player. This is one of those players who, you know the name, but you'd never think of if I was to say.
What former Villa player?
Premier League footballer. So
the Jesus. Darius Vassell.
No, it's not. This lad never hit the heights of Darius. He went to. Did he go to a World Cup? He went to the Euros in 2004, anyways.
He did. He was one of my dad's favourite players in England for no reason. I always remember watching a game with him. I can't remember who England were playing, but he was saying, "Oh, you get Darius Vassell when he makes those runs like a snake."
That's
like
innuendo.
Famously leggy animal, the snake. But he meant it as a compliment. Like he meant it as in like, oh, he sneaks in. And I was sat there like, Darius Vassell. That's who England need.
Do you know another really random England striker I always think of? Because for years, I'm sure everyone does this, but you look up footballers who share like your birthday, and then you have like a bit of an affection for that player just because of when they were born essentially. But I swear the only one for me, well, one was Paul McGrath, which I never knew. I used to search it loads, and Paul McGrath never came up until one day I was just stumbled across his Wikipedia. But former Bolton Wanderers legend Michael Ricketts. That was who played, I think, one game for England. For some reason, I think it was against the Netherlands. Feel free to correct me, Nathan. I know you're a huge Michael Ricketts fan.
Huge Michael Ricketts fan, mate. I've just Googled players born on my birthday, September 6th. Unfortunately, Americans hijacked that Google search because it's a load of NFL players. All right, I'm gonna have to go on. You're gonna have to use the phrase soccer players born September 6th. Oh, speaking of Aston Villa, Bertrand Traore.
Yes, obviously from Burkina Faso,
Yeah,
making
famous
it.
Chelsea legend Bertrand Traore. That's it. Do I know any of these other? Oh, Pat Nevin. Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Pat Nevin.
Chelsea keeper, wasn't he? Pat Nevin,
Yeah, I think he
I
was.
think.
Yeah.
I can, I
And
can, I can never remember if he's Irish or not, but he does like a lot of Irish like radio football work.
I think he is. No, he's Scottish, isn't he?
That's the thing. He could be either.
Gonna have to look it up now.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
I
we're
well, like
thinking. I think you're thinking of someone else.
Pat Nevin. I don't think so.
He wasn't a goalkeeper.
Was it not? Pat Nevin. Oh God, who am I thinking
Maybe
of?
there's two Pat Nevins.
Pat Nevin, the winger for Chelsea. Is that what I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is a goalkeeper?
Yeah, he's Scottish.
No, it's definitely him. It's definitely him. He does a lot of Irish
Yeah, I
radio.
believe you. It's just he's not Irish. Stop trying to steer.
I don't know why I'm getting so defensive. I really don't care.
Leave Scotland's famous son alone.
Well, Nathan, will I throw the final? We've got off in a bit of a tangent.
Oh yeah, let's
I don't know how we managed it. The final player, the initials.
Just knocked my water over.
One for the YouTube viewers.
Yeah, there you go.
Your initials are ZK, which actually you might get it from the initials.
ZK.
ZK. No, I'll give you the clue. I forgot how brilliant this clue was. So the initials ZK, and the cryptic clue: the German is reminiscing about 11 p.m.
I've got no idea.
ZK. See, I never knew he actually played for Aston Villa. I always remember him at Fulham and Bolton, where he went down with them when they got relegated. Centre back, English centre back.
ZK.
Yeah. I think when I say the name, you'll go, oh yeah.
Go on then. Who is it?
That Knight.
Oh, Zach Knight.
That. Z-A-T.
I know the name.
I always think of him as Fulham.
Couldn't pull him out of a lineup.
Do you know one of the things I always, again, I just having random bits of trivia about random footballers from the mid 2000s. When Fulham signed him in the early 2000s, he was at a non-professional, just like an amateur team.
Oh, okay. Was he a Jamie Vardy? Was he?
I mean, I don't know enough about his career. I won't be honest. I'm just gonna get this fact out of the way so we can move on. But because he played for an amateur team, Fulham weren't obliged to pay a transfer fee from. They could just register him. But for compensation, the Fulham owner at the time, I can't remember who he was, I'm afraid, he gave the team 30 sets of tracksuits.
It wasn't the guy who put the Michael Jackson statue out.
I don't know. It could have been.
What was that guy's name? It was the one before the Khans.
Yeah, I can't.
Oh, it's a guy that had a huge beard. That's what I really remember about him. And he kept trying to defend them putting a Michael Jackson statue out there.
And then as soon as they took it down, they got relegated that season.
Yeah. There you go.
And also, that Knight has 2 more international caps for England than Steve Bruce. Steve Bruce, of course, has none.
None.
So Zat Knight will soon be the Newcastle manager.
Yeah, Zat Knight soon to be on this podcast. Gonna hunt him down, get Zat Knight on. Wonder what he's up to. Oh, but you got a trivia question to leave us with?
I've got a trivia question.
Oh,
let's always. So, Liverpool have been mentioned the entire show, so I thought I had to get them in somewhere. Well, Nathan, I was thinking, will I make you a trivia question, or will I just give you a bit of trivia?
Oh, just a bit of trivia, I think. Let's leave it.
Yeah. I won't leave you hanging. Nah. You've got better things to be doing. So Liverpool's loss to Fulham a few weeks ago made it 6 consecutive home defeats for the Premier League champions. Still are the champions, even if it's mathematically impossible this season. And the honour of losing the most consecutive home matches in Premier League history, the honour belongs to Sunderland, who suffered as many as 10 consecutive between 2003 and 2005 across 2 stints. They got relegated in between that time. Imagine we're over halfway there to, and we're record makers. Mentality monsters, Klopp always says.
Mentality monsters. We can have this record.
Just a losing mentality.
Who's your next home game against? Is it Arsenal?
I think we've Arsenal and Villa both at home, so it could be up to 8 by the next time we chat.
Do Villa have Grealish back? Because they are shocking at the minute without him.
Good.
They are awful. But speaking of awful things, this podcast is coming to an end now. We hope you've learned something. We didn't mention anything really. Wales played Belgium the other day, lost.
Yeah. Well, we always talk about Ireland not being able to create, special talents anymore. But we made Alexander Mitrovic Serbia's joint top goal scorer in history. So well done to Alexander.
Well done for scoring a goal, Mitrovic.
Did you see sorry to cut you, you probably haven't even seen it. Did you see the goal where he chips, it came up as Alexander Mitrovic chips Irish goalkeeper from 35 yards. And you think, whoa, that must be pretty impressive. No, is it Mark Travers or Tarvers, the Bournemouth guy?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't care. He he starts to come, and then he realizes Mitrovic is already at the ball, and he's about 20 yards off his line. And then, to be fair to Mitrovic, he does chip it first time, and it goes in from 35 yards. But it's not this spectacular goal it was made out to be.
Have you seen the Wales goal?
Nope.
It was really good. It was Roberts, can't remember his first name, Gareth Bale, and Wilson. I think it might be your guy, is it? Is it Harry Wilson?
Harry Wilson, yeah.
Yeah, Harry Wilson got the goal, but it was a really good bit of passing. They just absolutely, this Gareth Bale with a beautiful through ball. Wilson first time, straight to the back of the net. Belgium quickly then scored 3. but Wales got that one. And England beat San Marino.
You bet San Marino?
Oh, we beat them. Beat them proper.
Do you know San Marino are actually my second favorite principality based in Rome?
Oh, okay.
Second behind the Vatican. Big up the Catholic roots.
It's good to have a favorite principality. I think Monaco is going to be my favorite principality.
There you go. How come Monaco don't have a team and San Marino do?
Because Monaco's too busy hiding people's tax money.
Allegedly.
In a load of suspicious amount of casinos.
I don't think anyone in Monaco is under the age of about 75, so they probably can't afford it.
It's Cesc Fabregas.
Well, they can afford it. They just can't make up. They don't have the numbers.
Cesc Fabregas, a load of tennis players, Lewis Hamilton, and everyone's estranged uncle. It's the only people that live there.
You should be in prison.
Yeah. Well, there you go, guys. We'll delve into the politics behind Monaco existing next week. As always, you can find Project Dits and all the affiliated podcasts. There's some new podcasts coming along. Forgive me, I can't remember the name of them, but head over there and you'll find all the information. It's at Project DITS.
You sound like really big there, Nathan. Let's just calm it down a bit, yeah.
I'm professional, if nothing else. And you can find me weekly on Rogue Opinions at Rogue_Opinion, talking movies, TV, and everything. We'll have Justice League review up soon when I've bothered to watch all 4 hours of it. And,
exciting.
You can find my other podcast, That Ain't Sport, at That Ain't Sport. It's a comedy scripted podcast. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts. There's 2 episodes are out. The third one's coming April 9th. And Dara, where can people find you?
Yeah, if you want to see me atting, unknown celebrities, sort of Nickelodeon teen stars from the late 90s, early 2000s. Twitter is at Gibbons_Dara. I got in contact.
It sounds like really creepy then, that you're stalking these former child stars.
No, he just Renford Rejects, a TV show I saw about a few weeks ago when Ryan was on. There's a guy in it called, it's not called Stuart Jackson in real life, but he was actually in The Dark Knight. He had an extra role in The Dark Knight. I've never seen it. But
you've never seen The Dark Knight?
I have not. No.
Oh, there we go.
We'll leave it at that. We'll leave
so
me
young.
Harassing Nickelodeon stars with no context. Just as I was about to give the context. It's okay.
Harassing Dark Knight extras.
Can I just say for the record, he's about a 40-year-old man. It's not
allegedly.
It's still harassment, and it's always a crime.
Thank you very much for watching / listening, guys. Don't harass people, and we'll be back next week. Bye now.
Okay.